Hey everybody, thanks for coming to hang out with me for a little bit. On the bench today is DeAgostini's X-Wing. Now this is a kit that you purchase from DeAgostini, and it comes in monthly installments. Now if you're in the UK and you have what's called a news agent, it's a place that sells magazines and candy. You can stop by there once a week and they actually publish once a week. But here in the States we get it by the month. This is a 24-month purchase. It's about $80 a month with shipping. And it's a lot of fun. This particular unit is the third installment for me. I've built the Millennium Falcon and I've built the R2-D2 unit. The Millennium Falcon was probably the most challenging but the most fun. The R2-D2 was a great build but had some issues with its electronics, and we come to the X-Wing and it's gotten a little more wiggy in terms of what it is. Now there are many channels who are building these units, so if you want to follow along from the very beginning, I highly recommend World of Wayne. Check him out on YouTube and Instagram. He's a first-class human being, a good friend, and he will take you through this from the very beginning. He's also building many other of the DeAgostini competitors' pieces. Hachette is making several models, as is a company called Eagle Moss. At the moment I am building this unit, but I'm also building the Aston Martin DB5 from Eagle Moss, and we'll talk a lot about that later. But quickly I wanted to sort of dive into it here. Now I am beginning on section 81. So for people who are curious about this from the very beginning, as I said, go check out World of Wayne and he'll help you through it. They're not complicated, but they can be fussy, and you must follow the directions very clearly. Unlike me, who sometimes thinks I can tell by a picture what I need to do. No, you must read the instructions, because it's not just about which part fits in which slot, which screw goes to which piece, but it's also about how things should be orientated and which things should be tightened up and put away and which things should be left loose or not completed until a later date. So please follow along. The reason why I chose to start with this is curiously because I wanted to give everybody a heads up. When you get your magazines every week, they look like this. They look like this. They're beautiful magazines, and they're beautifully published. There's some fantastic information in them about everything you need to know about the Star Wars universe, and then you get to the pages where they say, okay, commence your building, and they take you through it step by step by step by step by step. So I thought I'd do a little bit of this just to give you a sense of what that's like, and then we'll move on to something else, because there's a bunch of stuff I wanted to talk to you about today. But I wanted to start with this specifically because when you get to stage 70, you are asked to fire up the electronics and test them. Well, the problem with that is when I attempted to do that the first time, they wouldn't fire up. And I checked every single plug to no avail. Everything was exactly where it should be, but unfortunately it just wasn't firing up. Now I ordered a new unit from DeAgostini. I called them. They were short on those units, but they sent me the entire pack. It's pack 17. And I got a new unit, and this is what those units, this is what they look like right here. This is the unit. Curiously, when I got the second unit, the numbering of how to plug in and the orientation of it was different from the first unit and different from the magazine. So pay attention to that. Don't be put off by it, but just know that I guess they changed their runs. I don't know exactly why they did this, but they did it. So when I plugged in the new unit, nothing worked. It was still DOA. So I did some sort of investigations of my own on the web. A great resource for this is the Model Space forums. Now you can get to them by Google search, or you can just go and sign up on Model Space. It's free, and you can get access to the forums. And the great thing about that is lo and behold, I discover that you do not and cannot fire this up on 70. You have to wait till 74 until you get a cable, a single cable that plugs in to the inner workings of this. It is in fact will be ultimately the plug-in for power for plugging into the wall as opposed to using batteries, if that's what you choose to do. And sure enough, the whole thing fired right up. And when I called DeAgostini to give them a heads up, they go, "Oh, thanks for telling us." Didn't really care. There should have been some kind of a supplemental mailing or an email to us saying, "Hey, we apologize, but this is what you need to know." They didn't do it. They just let the community do it, which is okay, I guess, but a little frustrating. So once again, if you are building this X-Wing, I do highly recommend them. They are a lot of fun, but you're going to have a problem with the electronics. If you try to fire it up on stage 70, you got to wait till 74 and you should be fine. Okay, so that is that. Let me just put this to one side for a second here, and we'll get that out of the way. It's the scale and the size of it is just simply huge, so it's a lot of fun. Okay, so here we are on rear fuselage assembly. This is stage 81, so that's where I am on my build. And so you'll get several packets. Here's 81. They'll come all sealed. So you gotta open up your packet here and get out your pieces. And again, if you are building one of these for the first time, you've never tried it, or you're getting into the hobby and you thought you'd go this way, it's a great way to go. They don't have to be painted if you don't want to paint them. If you do want to paint them, there's a lot of talented guys out there who are painting them. Not only are they painting them, but they're also adding modifications to them to make them even better. So you can look out for those on Shapeways, which is the 3D printing place on the net. It's called Shapeways, shapeways.com. You can check them out. They are terrific, and I'll show you some of their work before we finish this episode. And they're also using photo etch and other things like that. So I'm choosing not to do that. I'm doing a straight out of the box build. So what they want you to do is get the hyperdrive assembly from stage 80. This is it. And I've been working away at it like a busy beaver. And I have to say, it's great fun to see all of this. I just hope in the final build we get to at least see some of this. I've built quite a few pieces on this, and a lot of the work you do, the internal work, will never be seen. But that's true a lot of model making, and a lot of model makers will say to you, it's the satisfaction of actually building it and the satisfaction of knowing that they actually put it in there. So it asks for this particular unit. Then it asks for the center pillars, which are these. Here are the center pillars. It asks for the hyperdrive left rear platform mount and the right platform mount, which are these. It asks for the hyperdrive rear platform, which is this. And it asks for the hyperdrive rear platform top, which is this. So I've got those pieces. There are a few more, but I'm going to set those aside because they're frames. If you are building this for the first time and you've never done this before, get yourself a little container to keep your spare parts in. Get yourself some little baggies, Ziploc baggies that you can write on with a Sharpie. Use a Sharpie and keep everything where it needs to be, because I promise you, and it's happened to me, a lot of these little pieces love to leap into the ethereal nowhere and they're gone. So just quickly to start this up so you can see, I'm not going to do too much of it, as I said, because there are a lot of guys doing this, and that's not the purpose of this channel. The purpose of my channel is to kind of just get you immersed in the hobby, talk about what's going on and what excites me about the hobby and what I'm building. So you'll get a little bit of everything. You'll get a little news, you'll get a little update, you'll get a little information on where to look for other stuff. We may even try to talk about certain products as well. And I will try to guide you to really competent hobby makers who can help you, because that's what I'm here for. That's what my channel is about. It's really a reference channel to sort of hang out with one another, but also to give you as much information about what's going on in the hobby and what I like about it and where to find cool stuff. And that's what we'll try to do every show. So the first thing it wants you to do is it wants you to lay out the pieces, which I sort of have done, and it wants you to take the left rear. Now the way you can identify the left from the right is because they're very kind enough to show you. They're very kind enough to show you in these pictures what your left and right looks like. It's asking you to take the left. So we orient these the way they are supposed to be, and you'll discover that if you orient them correctly to the photos, that this is the left one. So I had oriented these boxes incorrectly and just had to think about it. Sorry about that. They're on there now the way they should be. And the next thing it wants you to do is take the locating pins for the top of the box, and it wants you to place that on top like such. So you get that. Then it wants you to take these two pins, and it wants you to put them in these two holes right there, and you can see they can only go one way, which is incredibly helpful. So we'll put those in here like so. Now I'm not used to doing this on camera, and that's really not the purpose of this, so it was good that I made a mistake and I went and sort of stopped to think about it, because you will always be able to sort of backtrack and for the most part correct yourself. So you get this, and as you can see, this assembly is completed, and now they want you to go on to the next piece, which is extending the framework, which I will not do in this episode, but I wanted to just show you how this works. So now what I'd like to do is sort of talk a little bit about what else I'm working on, and then we'll wrap up this episode. Once again, keep everything in a safe place. Keep everything together and you will be fine. This is the Galileo Shuttlecraft in 1/32 scale from the original series from Polar Lights, and it is it's just a really fun kit. I don't do unboxings, so there are plenty of guys who do unboxings. I don't really understand unboxings, to be honest with you. I think it's mainly to sort of check out the merchandise. They're very impressive, some of them. They go into a lot of detail about the box art and what's inside, but I don't do them. This is a really fun kit, and I'm going to be building it with you guys in its entirety in the next several months, and I'll give you a heads up when we're actually going to start that. But the reason I wanted to share it with you today is because I wanted to talk about kits that are available on the market, and then aftermarket accessories that can just blow your mind and really add to the fun of the experience. And this is an example of that I think is really a lot of fun. If you're into fantasy and you're into Star Trek and you're into building, you really want to check out this kit. You really want to get this kit. Now, there's a lot of you out there who are watching me who already have this kit and already built it. If you have, drop me a line and let me know what you thought about it, if you agree with me. And you'll see that there's a lot of guys who've been building it for quite a while. But I wanted to talk about something in addition, because this kit, interestingly enough, does not come with an interior. You build it just as it shows you on the box art. So this is the box art, and that's what they want you to build. And it's beautiful, and it looks great. There are some opportunities to light it, and there are some guys who will do that. We may do that, I'm not sure. I think we will. But what I wanted to talk about was the fact that it didn't come with an interior. Now, there are rumors bubbling around that there will be an interior kit produced at a later date. I don't know. We'll see. To my knowledge, there's no more chatter about it. But the roof on this is a solid roof. And if you want to see the interior, a lot of guys who are building it are not, they're leaving the door open, and there's quite a large cavity. Actually, the windscreen is, the front of the ship is actually quite large as well. So there is plenty of opportunity there for you to see. Here it is. Let me get this out of here real quickly and show you this, because you can see, I won't pull it all the way out of the plastic, but I wanted to pull it out enough for you to see that this windscreen is quite large. It's quite a large windscreen. So you can see in through this way, and you can see in through the side door. But I was thinking, if you're going to go to the trouble to actually build an interior, don't you want to see it? So what I am contemplating is building a window, or cutting a window in here in clear plastic, so that you can see the interior. And I'll tell you why. The reason why is because on shapeways.com, which is your 3D printing world. We'll talk a lot about 3D printing at a later date. There's a lot of guys who are 3D printing. I've dabbled in it, and we'll talk about that. But if you want to see the interior, you got to get this. This is so cool. I got this on Shapeways. Just type in Galileo and from Polar Lights, and you will come across this piece of genius. Now, it's all on one tree, and I don't want to take it off right now because I don't want to lose it, but this is what you get. You get the control panel for the front of the ship, and it's beautiful. It's it's built in black plastic. All the holes for your fiber optics are already pre-built, so we're definitely going to do that. There are some opportunities also to light some of the screens, but in the and curiously enough, because you don't you do not get an interior with this ship. There's no decals for it. So you're going to have to sort of create all of this for yourself. But there are fun ways for us to do it. Lots of lights. The chairs are beautiful. And there's also some details for the ceiling as well. It's great. And that will be an incredible addition to this. But you can see that what's the point if you can't look down into it? So I'm going to put a clear roof on it, and we'll see how it goes. Now, I do have 2 of these in case I screw this up royally, and I do want a finished article, but we'll make every effort to do a really good job on it. I want to hasten to say I'm not a model master. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably come in at around a 6 on some things, a 7 or 8 on other things, and a 4 on others. But that's what this channel is about. It's about learning together and talking about the better ways to improve your skills, and together we'll improve them. And that's part of the fun and excitement of this. The only other piece I want to tell you about today is Lou Del Maso has a channel called Aztekdummy. Check him out, Aztekdummy. This is his masking set. If you don't know about masking, you need to know. If you're one of the purists who only uses masking tape, God bless you. But for the rest of us, masks are terrific. Could you get a vinyl cutter and do this yourself? Absolutely. If you want to go to the expense of probably a $3,000 to $4,000 cutter, and you are really highly skilled at some of the software, whether it's Adobe or a finishing software for creating 3D and imagery and that stuff, knock yourself out. You certainly can. But what you get in this is you get, interestingly enough, you get the ceiling panels, and you get enough for painting on the exterior logo and its number and even the name Galileo without having to use the decals. I said decal because our British friends, which I include myself in, I was born in England, they say decals. I don't know why, but they do. And so we'll be using those, and Lou includes very concise, very concise how-tos on the build, and he always does an excellent job of making sure that it's clear how you do it. They're very well produced, and he's even kind enough to say, if you're still struggling, email me at aztekdummy@att.net, or visit me on my YouTube channel and search out Galileo Shuttlecraft, and there's all the information you need on the world to make these really work for you, and they will just add a level of detail to your kit that will amaze you. Lots of fun. Anyway, that was the point of it, is just to say, look how many things there are. It's not just the kit itself. It's all the paint and tools and glue that you'll need to put it together, and then all the aftermarket stuff that goes with it. There's so much going on, and that's why I love this hobby. So that's it for this episode. Keep checking in. We will obviously try to put out as many of these as we can. We'll do more and more, I promise you, as we go along. If you like what you're seeing, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your enemies. And I also will be using a forum on the web, spruverse.com, where I will be listing everything that you see on this channel. So you don't have to worry about writing anything down, and you don't have to worry about finding things in the links. It'll all be there for you, but I also will make sure that if I'm talking about things specifically, that you'll be able to get information about them, whether it's on my Instagram account, Spruverse, or my website, spruverse.com, or the channel here. Look after yourselves, stay safe, be well, have fun, build something, and we'll see you next time. Take care.